up? It's Kathy, and I'm back with another process video, and I'm still playing catch up from May, now that I finally have my voice back. And so now I can voice over stuff. Yay! So this was a challenge that was for May in the Paper Issues Friends and Fans Facebook page, and the blog as well, obviously. But so this month, which is June, there is a dad version of the challenge. This month it was moms, and just because, you know, it's May, it's all about moms for May. Whatever kind of mom you are, you know, I consider moms to be a very wide spectrum word, if you guys know what I mean. There's furry moms, there's adopted moms, there's moms in a group of friends, you know, you have that one friend that's like your mom friend. Anyway, they're always looking out for you and that kind of stuff. So I decided to scrapbook this picture of my mom with my daughter. I don't have a lot of photos of my mom with my kids, and it's actually something I should probably try to get a little bit more of. She's like me, she doesn't like getting her picture taken and stuff like that. So something like taking a picture like this was kind of like sneaking it in. Anyway, it was a summer day, and she was out back hanging up some laundry on the clothesline, and Lily decided she just needed to help Nanny with that chore, because for some reason helping Nanny with a chore is okay, but helping Mommy with a chore, no. So I'm going really bold here with just a lot of pattern, but I still love the end result. So I started with I think it was called Poolside, and it was crepe paper, and it's from a few years ago. The gingham plaid stripe pink, whatever you want to call it. It's from a fairly new Pebbles collection. I think it was like family oriented one. And I have some of the papers and a few of the embellishments, and I just thought the pale pink of this worked really well, and it was a pattern on pattern without detracting too much. And you saw me do like a little white outline around the edges, and it's really not something you notice unless you're really looking at the photo, or sorry, at the layout. And it was just kind of, I don't know, it was just to add like almost like a stitched effect without stitching, because heaven forbid I'd actually stitch. And so the clothesline little pieces are actually from an Echo Park paper, and it was just kind of an older paper in my stash, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity to use it. I actually bought it for the opposite side, which I think had like a blue chevron or something like that, but I couldn't resist using it for this particular layout. So this is like a great way to use up one of those kind of papers that you wouldn't think you could use. Like, how often you use clothing lines. I mean, this is very themed at this point, because I'm putting clothing lines on a layout about clothing lines, and that is not something I normally would do. Would be to theme it up, but this was just that perfect combination, I felt, and the colors were perfect. I love like pink and yellow and blue or teal or mint together, and then like a pop of red. I don't know, it's just like, it's one of my favorites. And the picture I took into my my program on my computer called Pixelmatic, and I vintaged it up, and that's why you can see at the top two edges that it's kind of like white, like it's fading out, and that's just from different filters that I applied to it. And then you could put stuff over top that made it look like maybe it was scratched, like the photo was old and scratched and stuff like that. So that's kind of why it has that effect, and I really think that it helped so much. Like, I was originally going to just turn it black and white, but those green trees behind my mom, when you turn them black and white, it's just a big black blob. There's no definition. So I knew I had to keep it in color. And there's a yellow laundry basket. My daughter's wearing pink. My mom's just wearing like some kind of printed shirt. So I wasn't focused on those colors. I stayed focused on the pink shirt, the yellow laundry basket, and then just bringing in those reds and blues and everything. And I did a whole bunch of layering behind the photo as well, because, you know, heaven forbid, I already had like 3 pattern papers brought into this. Let's add more. And I think I added like 4 or 5. And when I'm layering behind my photos, I really like to leave one edge exposed so that you only see the pattern on like 2 or 3 sides, usually 2, sometimes 3. And it's just to avoid it looking like I'm matting the photos. And I don't mind doing it. Sometimes I'll leave it a little bit bigger on one side or something, so it's not that perfect, like looking like you're just putting like 5 photo mats on top underneath a photo. Now don't shoot me, but you can't get those bunnies. that was something I did bring in out of my stash, and I was like, should I do this? You know, I don't want people to be like, oh, where do you get the bunnies? And you can't. They're Cosmo Cricket. I've had them in my stash since, I'm going to say 2010, maybe 2011. So I have had them for a really long time, and I have literally, and I'm using that word the right way, been saving them for a moment like this. This was just that perfect combination of all these products together and the ideas. And I had been saving that particularly for when I bought it. I only had one child, and it was my son. And I was still thinking I was going to use it for that. Like maybe it was going to be a picture of him and I making cupcakes or like something like that. And I kept saving it because I didn't have that kind of picture, and just kept saving them and saving them. And this is the perfect opportunity to use them, and they are so cute. But I mean, I would say that you could find something like that, but they don't really make that kind of chipboard stuff anymore, and the vintage stuff's kind of gone for a little while, but I feel like it's going to start coming back again. Cartabella does a really good job of doing that. Echo Park's pretty good as well, and I know that there's a whole bunch of new lines in the store right now that are super cute. And anyway, let's move on. I don't want to give anybody bunny envy. But as you can see, I'm mixing it with some really new stuff. Obviously, the sweet is from Maggie Holmes Carousel. I can't remember what some of this is from. I think a line called Domestic Life or something. And that was from, I feel it was from Bella Boulevard. And I did not buy any of the papers. I think the only thing I bought was the ephemera pack, and it just had some cute little icons that I thought would be great for doing something like maybe a traveler's notebook, or a mini album, or, you know, a planner, when I used to actually decorate my planner instead of just all I do now is just actually write things down in it for planning. I didn't do a whole lot of embellishing, just a few little pieces of ephemera here and there. And I had to add in, that's from Coco, what was it called? Snow and Coco collection, those tassels. And I mean, they came from that particular collection, but they're so generic that you could easily use them for pretty much anything. So I decided to use, you only get one pink, so I decided to save the pink. I originally was going to use the pink, and then I was going to use the red, and I thought that would just be a little too much. Do you know what I mean? I know you know what I mean. But bringing in that extra bit of blue, because I was kind of losing the blue to all the pink and the red and the yellow, and so I felt I needed to kind of add that in. I don't put any ink on this page. I don't feel it needs it, and I was too frightened to actually do that, because the only one I wanted to use was my gold, and I could not find my gold. Again, it's still somewhere in my room. So I just used some enamel dots, and now I'm doing a title, and I decided to write Nana's Little Helper, and I'm doing it with a white. It was from, it's a relatively new font. I say that in the sense that it might be from like this past Christmas. And I had to make my own little apostrophes for little, like shortening that up, and Nana's. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I love this layout so much. So thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.